Good afternoon, everyone. This is Naishadh coming to you from Melbourne. And today is Package episode number 151. And on today's episode, we are talking about the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset in your career success and how do you succeed in your career. Is talent and skill are enough to give you the acceleration that you need in your career or not? To help us unpack this fascinating concept and why this is fascinating, because this is happening in one of the most um, darkest periods when it comes to employment in many years that we have seen. We have not seen this kind of unemployment even in global financial crisis also.
Right.
So we are seeing a very strange, and if you look at how world of work was changing even before pre-COVID era, and then the COVID happened, and so we were always living in this complex, uncertain environment, and now it has actually accelerated the space. How does having a growth mindset really help you to stay afloat and also grow your career? So to help us unpack this concept, we have invited Vikram Duggal from India, and we will introduce Vikram, shortly. But let's welcome Caroline Brown, the co-host of the show. Caroline.
Thanks, Nesh. Absolutely delighted to be here. Episode number 151. And I believe that's auspicious, ending in a one. So that's very exciting. So, yeah, absolutely delighted to be here today and delighted to welcome you, Vikram, to the show. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, absolutely. And when Naishadh told me that how consistently have you been doing it, and this consistency is always a game changer. That's what I strongly believe in. And what I was able to connect to him when he mentioned this, there is something that I am also doing every single day. It's slightly different, but it's also happening every single day. I'm posting a video on YouTube, my channel, for the last 94 days now.
Oh,
So
wow.
we are going to touch a century there. So, and ultimately, what brings a shift in our thought process or our contribution to the world around us is what is it that we are doing? The way Naishadh meant the darkest of times, the most challenging of times that we have faced. So, what is it that we are doing in these times that's going to make all the difference? So happy to be here.
Fantastic. So, just kick things off and to give people a bit of context about what you do. I notice on your LinkedIn profile you've got an amazing title, the Chief Energizing Officer. So,
Right.
tell us what that's all about and how you work with people.
Right. So first, let me tell about the title Chief Energizing Officer. If you look at it closely, I came across this understanding in a couple of programs that I attended, that energy is everything and everything is energy. And how you manage your energy is what contributes to where you are in your life. So that is why I call myself as Chief Energizing Officer, because I want to remain energized myself. I want to have people in my team remain energized, and the work that we are doing, how is it adding to their energy? That is the whole game. So that is why the title is Chief Energizing Officer.
I
Now
think I'm going
coming
to pinch it.
right. Coming to the work that I'm doing, prior to COVID, when these lockdowns have started happening across the world, I was a typical corporate facilitator and coach. And if you ask me today, I still love those live sessions when I'm in a classroom and we can experience things happening right in front of our eyes. There are lots of here and now experiences you can pick up from. So they totally stopped. And I had to figure out what to do now. And around that time, I started deliberating with the idea of can I create an online program? I do similar work, but can I do online program? And I started creating it. And finally, in May, I was able to launch it. So my target audience for that program is working professionals who are in the age group of 30 to say 50, 55 years of age, and who want to accelerate their careers. But very interesting thing that happened was that there are younger people than that who have come into my program because they found some value in that. At the same time, I have people who have retired from their jobs. They also started coming into my program, or they are close to retirement. They started coming into my program because of what I am offering in that program. So this is how it's going, picking up, stabilizing. Uh, I have kind of come to a break-even point now, and perhaps we will start churning into revenue, positive revenue in the days to come.
Or world domination, as Naishadh like to say. So you talk about a lot about, I guess we're going to dig into that concept of growth mindset and the role it plays in people's sort of success in their careers. Can you unpack that for us a bit, or unpack that for us as a concept?
So, Karalyn, this is how we evolve. We are all here for an evolution. We all have come here in this life with a potential that we have. Now, the question is that potential converting into reality? And if you examine the world around you, and sometimes when I ask this question to myself also, is my full potential coming out? Many times the answer is not 100%. So the point is, if we start becoming aware of possibility that we are having within us, that is what converts into growth mindset, because we start looking, see, our radar, if we have to put it in that analogy, our radar starts looking for possibilities of growth, opportunities of growth. And when I'm saying opportunities of growth, I am not only limiting it to money. When I talk about growth mindset, it's about you as a person first, you as an individual. And then it starts converting into better paying jobs, better designations, more contribution to the work, or maybe some new roles that you take up. All that starts happening when you start operating with that mindset, believing that you have latent potential inside you, and that has become a reality. Yeah.
So what's the link? What's the link between that sort of, scanning for opportunities and positive mindset and, achieving better results, say, in your career or in your life in general? What's the actual link there?
So the link is that the way you look at life becomes very different.
Yeah.
The way you look at your work becomes very different. Now, you will notice that there are many people that you'll find working in organizations. They have a typical 9 to 5, 9 to 6 mindset. I'll come at 9, that is the punch in time, and I'll go leave my office at 6 o'clock, that is punch out time. But can you look beyond that? And even if it is 9 to 6, that's perfectly fine. I'm absolutely fine with it. But what is the difference that you're making in that 9 to 5, 9 to 6? That is the game changer. And when it comes to an opportunity or a situation that you have to stretch a little bit, your work demands, I'm not saying using the word boss here, your work demands, your organization demands that you need to stretch a little bit. You have to sit late for certain days, you have to come early for some days, you have to take additional workload for some days. What happens in your mind in those times? That is the link that I'm talking about. Are you able to take that as a part of the game, or is it that those times disturb you, frustrate you, and you start complaining a lot in those times? Because everything that you think, everything that you say in those times is going to make a difference to you first. Organization will have to pay the price, okay, but that will come later. But the first person who gets affected by that kind of mindset is you yourself. That is the link.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And just wanted to welcome Balin and Imtiaz to the discussion. If you got questions for Vikram around growth mindset and how to develop it, or any particular observation or anecdotes that you have about growth mindset, please feel free to drop in into the chat. And also, If you think that somebody will benefit from the discussion, don't forget to tag them, because it will
Sure.
just going to enhance the discussion and bring
Sure.
some richness to this as well. So Vikram, if you can, sort of, move a bit further into that. So we got a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. I think if I just take the analogy of 9 to 6 work, this is my job. I'll do this and then I'll punch out and then won't even, remember this, or probably this is my task and I'm only interested in it, I'm not interested in anything else,
Right.
right? That's like a fixed mindset that we see. What are some of the indicators that you see that people have a fixed mindset? Sometimes, fixed mindset is, in what I understand, is that I might have a fixed mindset with my kids because I want them to do certain things in certain way. But when it comes to my
Uh-huh.
business, I might have a growth mindset. And then, no, this possible, this is possible. But so I think I can see myself traveling from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. But if we just focus on career, what are some of the indicators that one can examine that they have a fixed
Okay.
mindset?
First, let me share my perspective on what you just said about your kids. You want them to do this, this, this. That is not fixed mindset. That is not fixed mindset. Why? Because whatever you want your children to do is driven by certain values. You want them to be disciplined, and discipline has a huge payoff in the long run in life. So that's not fixed mindset, right? You want them to eat healthy food. Yes, you are flexible to give them pizza once in a while, but otherwise you say no, you first eat this and then you will have something else. That's not fixed mindset. That's the way I thought I'll share. You are not being fixed mindset when you want your children to behave in a certain way. You are concerned about them, you are concerned about their growth. Now when it comes to organization, working professionals, how it differentiates is what is the person, typical person who is a fixed mindset person. And I'll put it in three dimensions, which I always say that these are the kind of resources that we have. These are the things that we do. These are the things in our command. One is our actions. My actions will show that I'm a fixed mindset person. First example that I gave was I come at 9. In fact, I have come across people, if it is 9 o'clock entry time in the office, they will be there perhaps only 5 seconds before that. I've seen people like that. I was doing a training in when I was working in State Bank of India, and there was a person who used to enter the room. It's morning times, first session has to start. He would enter the room just when the session is about to start. And I was taking a session on time management, and I asked him, how is it that you are able to come just in time? He says, listen to this carefully. He says, I have calculated from my room how many steps it takes for me to reach the training room, and how much time does it take for me to walk every step. I've calculated that, and that's how I started. I said, oh my God, what is going to happen with this person throughout his life? He will put so much pressure on himself by doing all these calculations. So first indicator is you come absolutely in time, and the moment the clocks start showing the time to leave, you start fiddling. You start getting restless. And you must have seen many people like this in organizations. This is the first thing. Second thing is whenever any new demand comes, still talking about actions. Whenever any new demand comes to them, their behavior is resistant behavior. They start saying in so many words, why are you giving it to me? There are so many other people working here. Why not anyone else? Why are you always picking on me? That is another thing that comes. Third important action that they show is when it comes to learning, they think they know it all. And any new learning, they are not really open to that. And even when they enter a training room, they sit with a closed mindset there just to pass the time, just to put a tick mark that I've attended such and such training. So this is what comes in terms of their behavior. Now, second part of our personality is our feelings. Their feelings are always on the negative side. And I'm deliberately using the word negative. Otherwise, when we go into the discussion of the subject of feelings and emotions, I always say there is no feeling which is negative, no feeling which is positive. They are feelings. The question why I'm using negative, because their implication becomes negative over a period of time. So their feelings are on the negative side. They're always frustrated. They're always irritated. They get angry, short fuse people. These are the feelings that they carry. And the third, the deeper layer that we have is our thought process. They are experts in finding faults. The classic example that we give is whether the glass is half full or half empty. Their eyes always go on the empty part. But when I talk about a growth mindset person, even if a glass is like that, he would say glass is full, totally full, half with the water or the liquid that it has, and half with the air that it has. That is the way we differentiate in looking at things. So this is what comes out in their thinking, their feelings, and in their actions. And these are, you can very easily identify them. The way they walk, the way they talk shows it all.
I'm picturing people with a black cloud. You deliver training and there's always somebody that is the naysayer, or with the black cloud above their head that almost
Absolutely.
They walk in the room.
Yeah.
What would you say is the part of curiosity in that kind of growth mindset? How critical is that?
Absolutely. It all starts with curiosity. I was just a little while back mentioning to you about the program that I have launched. And we have something called Code of Honor in that. What are the things that we must practice and follow in our day-to-day life to accelerate in our careers? And one of the things I have mentioned there is curiosity. And why curiosity is important? Let's start how curiosity comes into our life. Curiosity comes into our life with our childhood. When we don't know anything, our slate is absolutely blank. And everything that we experience is, many of those things are, not many, in fact, everything is the first time sometime. Let's say I see these glasses as a child, I may be seeing it for the first time once, right? Now, the child wants to know what is it, how does it work, what is the purpose, and all that. And have we noticed how children ask questions without bothering whether it's a good question or not a good question? Right? So it all starts with curiosity. But what happens to most of us when we come into organizations, when we start working, our curiosity goes for a toss. Because now we have a job, we have a monthly paycheck or a weekly paycheck, whatever the way it works. And after we hardly ask any questions. And there is another thing that comes into play, Karalyn, is this. Let's say we are having a meeting. You are my boss, and there are a couple of other people who are sitting in the meeting. I have a question in my mind. I am curious to know, but I don't ask that question. What is the reason I don't ask that question? What stops me from asking that question? What stops me? I'm asking you. What could be the reason
I think feeling embarrassed, feeling that I might sound silly to them.
I might sound silly. I might sound stupid. And actually, someone may say in so many words, Vikram, my God, you don't know even this. And I don't want to hear anything like this. And one or two such experiences that I have, and it shuts me off. And my curiosity goes out of the window. The whole life remains in that state that I don't want to know anything new. So curiosity is absolutely important. The only thing that I'm suggesting here for those who are listening to us is, whenever you have a question in your mind, what you can do is ask yourself, how can I make it a quality question? If you have any doubt before that, How will it add value to me? How will it add value to the conversation that is going on? How will it enhance our perspective together?
Mm,
So that is how you can again start becoming more curious. And
mm,
curiosity is the mother of everything.
mm,
Everything that you are experiencing in your life came from a curious mind,
mm,
right? So curiosity is absolutely important. First indicator of growth.
mm.
Excellent. We've got a question, but before that, Balin's got a comment, which is pretty, great comment. Balin is saying that a optimist person looks at the half glass full and will say, "Wow, there's water here. Now we have to just go and find ice and whiskey." I think that's pretty much, a very hugely growth mindset. I think
Right.
I'm pretty sure that Balin, you'll never be alone with that question. So now we got a question, Vikram, for you.
Yeah.
So Lahiri is asking a question that where to start exploring in
Uh-huh.
this arena of growth mindset. So
Uh-huh.
how do you start exploring the growth mindset? And I think there was anyway our next question was that how do we start this? First is to obviously identify that these are. I think you clearly said that what are some of the indicators that you've got a
Right.
fixed fixed mindset. And now if you want to go beyond that, what are some of the things that people can do to build that growth mindset?
Right. So first thing comes is what we discussed just a little while back. Karalyn asked me a question about curiosity. So curiosity, become curious. How are things working? Now you are not a child that you need to know what is the purpose of this, right? Now you have to start asking more intelligent questions about life, about profession, about organization, about team working. You have to start asking questions, what are the problems that you see around the world, and how you can solve them. I remember having heard Travis Kalanick, Uber founder. I was listening to him in one of his TED talks. He said that I am a person who loves to solve problems, and perhaps that's how Uber was born. And he said, the bigger the problem, the more excited I am. So this is what is very important, that are you curious enough to look around and see where are the possibilities? That is one part of it. Second part, or let's bring it to an individual. Now, I said a little while back that there are three dimensions to a human personality. And my whole conversation generally revolves around those three only. So one important thing that I would say is a person who wants to become a growth mindset person has to see two things very clearly. One is where you are, and where you can go. So it becomes 2 points: where you are, where you want to go. 2 points. Now you know. Now you have to find out way to travel that journey. And that is what growth mindset is all about. So the first element of having growth mindset is a very high level of self-awareness. You know where you stand in your life, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the challenges that you're facing, what are some of the short fuses that you have inside you, what bothers you, what nags you. All these questions, when you get answered to, these are your current point. Now, from here, can you move ahead in your life as an individual? Of course. If you're a person who gets angry very easily, you can start moving towards becoming more calm. And it's good for you first, isn't it? If you lack certain, let me say this. Now, till a couple of days back, I did not know what is StreamYard, right? The platform that we are using to broadcast this. I did not know anything about it. But now that you do not know, someone has used the word StreamYard is a tool which you can use. Now I know I don't know anything about it. But the question is, if you want to use it, what all will you need to go through First, you'll have to log in. First, you'll have to create. So are you a person who is ready to explore? You may have your own apprehensions about technology, which I am saying about myself. But can you, with the help of people who know, start exploration? This is another point of learning that you can bring in. So very important thing that if I have to sum it up is, are you ready to learn? Tell yourself that I am at X point today in any area of life. Let's say relationships. My relationship with Naishadh is not so good, but I want to make it good. What is it that I can do towards making that relationship work? All is about learning and making it better. And I always say, there is a quotation which I heard way back in my childhood. There's always a room at the top. And the meaning of this for me is there's a possibility of becoming better as an individual. So as you start looking at that possibility, you start becoming growth mind. In fact, I would say you become unstoppable in terms of growing in your life. Let me just give you an example of this. You must have heard this name, Ratan Tata. Karalyn, have you heard this name, Ratan Tata?
I haven't actually.
So yes, Ratan Tata is one of the biggest industrialists in the country, in a business house.
Yeah.
Tata's is a business house, and he's heading that.
Yeah.
Now, I think couple of months or maybe a year back, I saw a picture of Ratan Tata sitting in Harvard Business School in a classroom, attending a session. He is, I think, 75, 80 years of age. What is his need to do that? What is his need to do that? He is demonstrating to the world it never stops, right? Today morning, I got a picture of from someone, WhatsApp forward. 97-year-old person got a Nobel Prize for inventing lithium battery.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine a person of 97 years of age creating something new? How will it come? It comes only from a growth mindset. I told you earlier, anything that you are experiencing in your life has come from a growth mindset. Yeah.
Vikram, do you think we're just too complacent? I mean, I was talking to a friend about the Lord Mayor of Sydney, who I think turned 75, and comparing it to other 75-year-olds that we know. And like, it's very easy just to get stuck in a rut. Like you get up, you go to work, you come home, you might go to the gym or whatever. It's so easy to get stuck in a rut like that and just assume that your life is following this trajectory of, you know, what you consider being normal. So how do you, but then you see that there are other people that do extraordinary things at different ages, like you say as well. How do you, what could you have as like habits in your life to ensure that you don't get stuck in that rush?
So there are two answers to that. One is, it's a little philosophical. It may sound a little philosophical. And it is like this, that it says that if you are alive, you still have to accomplish something. If you are alive, you still have to contribute something to the world around you, right? Even if you are on a bed. Let's take that example of Stephen Hawking. What was his condition? What was he told when his ailment was detected? And how many years he lived, and what all he contributed to the world of science. So if you are alive, just say to yourself, what is it that I can contribute? That is one thing that will keep you away from the rut. Second important thing, Karalyn, is this, which I keep reminding myself. We get into a comfort zone a little too early in our lives. And what do I mean by comfort zone? If you have salary coming into your account every month, or if you have a regular source of income which takes care of your needs, there's a very high risk, I'm saying, that you may get into that complacency because your physical needs are being met. But what about your emotional needs? What about your mental needs? What
Mm.
about your spiritual needs?
Mm.
Money cannot take care of them.
Mm.
For that, you'll have to work. In fact, many of your physical needs cannot be taken care of by money if you
Mm.
have to remain fit. You are
Mm.
talking about people at the age of 75 or so. If you have to remain fit, you'll have to work out,
Mm.
isn't it? And
Mm.
workout demands that you step out of your comfort zone.
Mm.
So in my program that I was talking to you about, in the introductory webinar itself, there is a slide that I showed to them. This is where the comfort zone is, and this is outside the comfort zone. And
Mm.
let me say this, everything that you want in your life, everything that you want in your life, whether it is excitement, whether it is abundance, whether it is going for your dreams, all that lies outside the comfort zone.
Mm. I watched this beautiful program last night on SBS, one of our channels here. It was about young girls in Afghanistan going to school and going to skateboard school.
Right.
And it was just amazing because it was about that confident attitude that comes from learning how to skateboard, like learning how to go up the ramp and skate over people and jumps
Right.
and turns. And you could just see in the space of, like, it was filmed over a year, but in the space of 1 year, how much confident those young girls were in all aspects of their life.
Right.
Because they'd learned how to skateboard, which is way out of their comfort zone. And at the end of it, they were saying, I want to be an accountant, I want to be a pilot, I want to be an engineer. And those two things clearly went hand in hand in one of those countries in the world where women are really discriminated against and oppressed, and that they still had this great hope because of the physical activity that they'd really pushed themselves to. And I think it was just it just fits nicely into what you're saying, is growth is outside of your comfort zone, but it doesn't necessarily need to be related to your career. It could be something else that you do at the same time.
Absolutely. Everything that you do, I would say, everything that you do. In fact, I say to working professionals specifically, how you utilize your personal time, is going to decide how much you grow in your career.
Yeah.
Because at work, everyone is doing almost the same thing. Whatever roles, responsibilities they have, everyone is taking care of that. But when they are out of their workplace, are you taking care of your body? Are you strengthening your mind? Are you working on your emotions? Are you elevating your spiritual life? All that happens in your personal time. And they start showing up at work. You know what? One of the biggest challenges that we face as society, once we are back from work, where does our time go? Most of the people you'll find, there are researches after researches which have shown that most of the people come home, sit in front of that device that we have in our homes, which is called TV, and many people don't even get up from there. They doze off there itself. Now, how do you expect a life to get elevated if you are not investing, I would call, if you're spending precious time in doing something like that, unproductive activity? Yes, you may have watched so many serials, you may have watched so many live matches. I would say to such people, so what? How is it added to your life? How has it added to the life of the world or people around you? Just check that out. And that is what makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
And if you have to look at the mornings of many people, how do people go to work? They get half an hour or 1 hour before they have to leave home, and everything is an absolute mess in our homes when we have to leave for work. We are running around, having breakfast, pulling our socks up, wearing our shoes, another bite in our mouth. Is it not happening? Is it not a reality? Now, can you take charge of that? That is what is a growth mindset indicator.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we got a comment from Lahiri. They're very true, KB. There are many intelligent people who are stuck in a rat race, and most difficult part is that they can't get out of the race because the industry holds on to them very strongly out of the need. That's partially very true. I don't think so that uh, it. I think the first point is to realize that you are in a rat race, then you can get out of it. First point of the race, I think Vikram alluded to, is this self-awareness part is probably the most important. But at the same time, I think I really like that idea
Yes.
of lifelong learning is also incredibly important, which fuels this, or which kind of
Yeah.
acts as a scaffolding to you, that you are
Right.
you are learning something new every day. And I think me and KB can take credit in this, developing our own growth mindset since last 6 months, starting something and learning things on our way. I'm pretty sure KB would not have done the research that she has done on
Right.
YouTube if this was not about the career care
Right.
package. And similar to me, I would not have dwelled into doodling as much the way I do that now,
Let me.
just not
Acha, that
because
was
of the
created
power
by.
of this.
Show that again. Show that again. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You sent that to me. Wow. Right. Right.
Yeah, so this is something, and I think this is what I also want all of us to kind of, or at least for me, is that even a small step in growth mindset, even taking on a small learning, even going small step out of your comfort zone, is also a win. You don't need to straight away. The only way that you can develop a growth mindset, that is, you can run a Melbourne marathon or a Bombay marathon. No,
No,
that's not
not
the
at
point.
all. Not
It's
at
a
all.
small
Yeah.
step. Even though if you're able to take small steps in, going out of that comfort zone, and
Right.
moving more towards where you can be, because I like that phrase, because where you want to be is a very, very wish kind of thing, but where you can be, in my view, is a more powerful future
Right.
focused discussion rather
Right.
than where you want to be.
Right. Right. So I just want, when you were using that phrase rat race, someone has mentioned that in the comments. I got reminded of a quotation that I came across. It says that yes, the world is running a rat race, and even if you win in a rat race, you still remain a rat. And do you want to be one such person? I
The
think
biggest rat of all.
I say that again.
I
Say
just
that
said the
again.
biggest rat of all, in
Yeah,
the rat
yeah,
race. Well,
right. So
it's true, really, isn't it? It's
right,
what
right.
are you running for?
Yeah,
It's okay if you want to run that race. If that race is a race that fulfills you and lights you up and serves good in the world, but you've got to make sure that you're running the right race, I think. So
right. Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. You need to
yeah.
be sure that you are in the right lane.
Mm.
Stephen Covey, in his book, gives a classic example of effectiveness. He says, make sure that your ladder is leaning against the right wall.
Yeah.
You may be an expert in climbing ladders, fine,
Mm.
but make sure that it's leaning against the right wall. What is happening is, after reaching at the top, you realize, oh my God, this is not the wall that I wanted to climb.
Mm.
And the whole life goes in that.
Mm.
Right?
Just going back to what Naish was saying about the small steps, those girls in Afghanistan started learning how to ride skateboards by learning how to put their feet in the right spot. So that was the first
Right.
lesson,
Right.
and they were guided around by other teachers. And yeah, so just wanted to build on that analogy. I wanted to ask you, one of the questions that we had for you, Vikram, was around having the right people in your tribe. There's people that say you're the sum of 5 people that you hang around with, and but what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I fully subscribe to this idea.
Mm.
So I'll give you a couple of thoughts on this. One is, I'll share one of my own experiences. I was working in an organization, and they had this system of a huddle kind of thing after lunch. The lunch hours are pretty long, and they would get together in a room, and they would talk. I was new to that place, and I thought it'll be courtesy to go there.
Mm.
And I went there one day, and I realized the whole conversation that goes on around there is about what is not working.
Mm.
what is not working in life, what is not working in this organization, what is wrong with people, what is wrong with people who are not in the meeting today, right? And first day, I realized this is not the place I want to be in, because I'll carry so much of toxic stuff from here when I go back, and it's not going to help me. I stopped going there. Did it affect me as a person? I don't know. May have, but I don't care for that. What I was caring for was my own thought process. So it's very important is who are the people you associate with on a continuous basis. Are they progressive mindset people themselves or not? Are they growth mindset people themselves or not? And what I was listening to, I don't remember who the speaker was. Uh, okay, let's not make attempt to search for the name. The point that he was making was you need to connect with people who are better than you. Why? Because they will pull you up. That energy will pull you up. But what happens with most of us, and I'm saying most of us, I'm including myself, is that we love to hang around with people who are a little below us. And what is the reason? There is psychology behind this. Psychology is I feel important amongst them. I know the most amongst them. So I love to hang with people. They say, "Sir, you are great," and I feel so good about it. Right? So that is why associate with people who are progressive, who are growth mindset themselves, who want to enhance their lives, who want to make a difference, who are doing some interesting work in the society. For example, I'm staying in a society and we have a small lake close to us. When we came here, shifted to this locality, that lake was absolutely dried lake, and there was a lot of garbage in that lake. But then there were some people who were interested in making a difference to that lake. So they created a movement. And on a couple of Sundays, we also participated on one of the Sundays. We went there, went to the lake, took out whatever possible garbage that we could take out. And you'd be surprised. There were more than 10 trucks of local body who came to pick up that garbage. And today, if you go back there, that's a thriving lake. There is what shall I say? Water birds have started coming there. Means there is life there now. Now, will it be important to connect with such people who are doing similar work on a continuous basis, or you would like to continuously watch television? And I'll say the same thing again. So what? But that one experience I'm talking about is bringing those same emotions even now, which I experienced at that time. So it's very important to identify who are the people you talk to all the time. And I'm getting this opportunity to connect with you. Those, even in virtual space, we can connect with the right people. There may be programs happening where they're talking all gossip stuff, but I won't be interested in going there. There are people who are watching us. They have chosen the right company, that this is a place where we can come and take back even one idea that can make a difference to them. So there are all kinds of people and you can make a choice. It's very important.
Excellent. I think on that line, also, as Iris said on that, I think maybe for, helping thousands to help discover many different things that they haven't, in the absence of 150 live sessions. That's absolute right. Thank you, Lahiri, for your ongoing support. Vikram, it's been absolutely fascinating for us to catch up with you and unpack. This is a very crucial topic, and I say that again, as I said in the very beginning of this show, is that COVID-19 times really has thrown everyone into a spiral, emotionally, financially, spiritually. I think none of our everyone's life has been impacted, small or big way in these times. And I think this kind of thinking is could pave way for people to bounce back, specifically
Absolutely,
in their
absolutely.
profession after COVID-19 situation. And so, Vikram, again, thank you very much for coming along and sharing your thoughts very generously with us, and we wish you very
Mm.
well with whatever endeavor that you are on. And thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Naishadh, for reaching out. And thank you, Karalyn, for connecting. I think today morning I connected with you on LinkedIn, and
Mm.
I think this will shape up in something useful in the times to come. You can just mention to the audience who are watching us about my YouTube channel. They can have a look at that as and when they wish to.
What's
Yeah.
the name of your YouTube channel, Vikram?
My full name, I can type it in the chat.
Yeah, you are welcome to you. What you can do is you are welcome to put the YouTube channel
Mm.
in that link also in the LinkedIn live feed as well, so people can who are watching this or who will watch it later, they can also go and check that. But I've got your YouTube channel here, and I will
Right.
put that in that as well.
Please,
Fantastic.
please. That'll be
Yeah,
great.
Vikram, it was fantastic to have you here and just
Absolutely.
for you to share your
Absolutely.
insights. So I'll go and
Absolutely.
check out your YouTube channel and subscribe and keep an eye on what you're up to, and it'd be fantastic to
Right.
have you again. So
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.